Where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. God has given us unlimited treasures in His Word. Every time we open it, we can discover a new treasure or admire an old one. What will we find today? Let's dig in. Here's Carla Early with Treasure Hunt in the Word.
Throughout this podcast, I've thrown in a lot of episodes on God's attributes. When I teach the Bible, I always try to leave a few minutes at the end for the group to reflect on how God reveals His attributes through the lesson that we had discussed. Sometimes they're obvious, but sometimes we have to think about things a little deeper to see how the Lord is teaching us about Himself through the lesson. For example, the book of Esther doesn't even mention God, but we can clearly see that He is sovereign, protector, deliverer, promise keeper, victorious, just to name a few of His attributes. In thinking about God's promises, when the Lord declares who He is in various places throughout the Bible, His attributes themselves are promises to us. I'd never thought of that before. When the Lord declares He is faithful to keep His promises, we know we can hold fast to our faith in Him without wavering. When He says He never changes, and that He is the same yesterday, today, and forever, we know all His attributes remain the same. So how we see Him in the Old and New Testament is how He is today. In fact, He says even when we're weak in our faith, He remains faithful to us. When He says His mercies never fail, we can expect Him to be merciful to us. We can hope for His mercy in the midst of judgment, and we can experience His forgiveness. In fact, as David says, God's goodness and mercy will follow after us all our lives. When He claims to be our rock, our salvation, and our unshakable fortress, we can trust Him as a shelter and a place of safety from our enemies. One quality of God that helped me cling to Him during a particularly difficult time in my life is that He is good. In Jeremiah 32:40, He promises Israel that He will only do good for them. Now that doesn't mean no troubles. That only means that the things that we perceive as bad from our perspective, God works for good. He says He is omniscient, which means He knows everything. If He knows everything, that means He knows all that is in our hearts. He knows everything we've ever done, every word, action, and attitude. Now for more on that, read my favorite Psalm, 139, verses 1 through 6. He knows us. Yet He loves us anyway. Isn't that just mind-blowing? In fact, in my list of promises coming from God's attributes, quite a few of them are about His love. Just think about 1 Corinthians 13, the love chapter, where God describes what His perfect love is like. Patient, kind, continual, forgiving, unfailing. He says love covers a multitude of sins, and His perfect love casts out all fear from our hearts, and that He lavishes His love on His children. There are so many more of these promises about His love, but we don't have time to read all of them. What are some of your favorite attributes of God that you cling to in difficult times? What attributes of God has He manifested in your life this week?
You can contact us at treasurehuntintheword@gmail.com. We'd love to hear the treasures God has given you through His Word. You can listen to other episodes at our website, which you can find in the description below. Thanks for listening, and remember, where your treasure is, there will your heart be also.